you for stopping in. Hope we've had a good week. Hope it's all been good. It's a Saturday night, and I'm just trying to make this video. I started last night. It was a nice rainy night, good night to chill, be a little bit creative and relax. But anyway, here I am, about to get started. Again, I thank you for stopping in. I hope you subscribe. And I believe we left off where Marie had gone downstairs and her papa was out in the garden picking up some tomatoes out the garden. And she yelled out there and she was going to go out and join him. And again, this is the book I'm reading from. I don't know if you can see it good because of the light reflecting on it. But anyway, it's a part of life. Sit back, relax, chill, and take a listen. So, Marie yells out, "Good morning, Papa." "How you doing, baby?" Papa called back. "Pretty good. How about you?" I asked. He said, "Come and get you some of these tomatoes. They're beauts." That's short for beauties. I do have to mention, my father has been in the newspaper a couple of times for his prize-winning tomatoes. So I got the salt and went out to the garden where I could have a field day with the tomatoes. I picked a few, washed them off, and set 2 of them on the rocking chair close to Papa, one for each of us, so we could talk and eat a few of his beauts. Then we went in the house so Papa could peel a few tomatoes and slice them for our breakfast. I cooked us some eggs, bacon, and toast, and then it was on. I wasn't even expecting one of my girls to come by early today, but Deja was here by 1 o'clock, and boy was I happy to see her. She wanted to know if I needed anything. I told her no, everything has been taken care of, but just keep me company. So as you can see, I had taken the day off. So we were sitting there watching our soap opera, The Guiding Light, advising the characters what to do and fussing them out when the phone rang. Did you guess who it was calling me? Yeah, it was Mike telling me he wouldn't be able to make it. I started to get upset, but something said, "Play it cool." "Are you for real? You can't make it?" I asked him. Then that fool said, "I'm just playing. See you in a few." After I hung up the phone, I felt even more nervous. So, Junie, finally, it's Friday, it's payday, and we're going to have a ball tonight. And one more thing, we're going to actually meet this Mike tonight. Look, my allergies are giving me a fit this week, so I can barely see these pages. It looks blurred, my eyes are running, and I might be sniffling tonight. So please bear with me and excuse me. So we're going to have a ball tonight, and we're going to meet this Mike. "Hey man, get in," I called to Alan, as he was already opening the car door to my black Super Sport. "To the bank, my good fellow, and I shall pay ye for thou's troubles," Alan said. Then off we headed for the bank. We got home our usual time on paydays, which was about 4 o'clock. We had some time to unwind a little before people started coming over. We did a few small finishing details around the house, nothing fancy, just making sure that everything was in place. Sodas, ice, things like that. My mother and Aunt Kate were sitting in the living room when the doorbell rang. My mother was answering the door as Marie came down the stairs. We knew Marie had to be nervous, but she was acting smooth as she went to the door, where her guest had just stepped in. They both were grinning and smiling, enough for us to see every tooth in their mouths. They greeted each other with an affectionate yet conservative or cautious hug. Marie. Everybody, this is Mike. And so I introduced him to the family. Then I took him in the backyard to meet my father and Alan. The conversations were going well as we talked with everybody. A little later, Mike and I had some time by ourselves, but even then, we just talked and admired each other. By this time, company started drifting into the backyard, so I excused myself for a minute to go put some records on the record player. I needed to step away from him for a minute to give my tired cheeks a break from smiling, and so I could breathe again. When I finally made it back to Mike, after about 10 minutes, he was talking with a group of people with his fine ass self. I'm telling you, everything was going so well. I felt high. Speaking of high, I got myself a drink. Mike already had a non-alcoholic beverage in his hand. As the night went on, we all danced, drank, ate, laughed, our asses off, talked some more. As you can tell, the plan my brothers had about taking him out with them for a few hours fell through. Everybody was here and they liked him. But still, within the next few days, I was going to have Alan and Junie spend some time with Mike away from the house. By about 2 o'clock in the morning, the front yard and backyard were beginning to empty. "Good night. Talk to you tomorrow. Be careful going home," was coming from all over the yard. And thank God, almost everything in the yard had been cleaned up. I didn't feel like spending my last few waking moments tonight cleaning up. I would rather be doing something else. But that's right, no shame in my game. Mike and I rode to the beach and parked facing the ocean. I was saying to myself, when is this man going to kiss me? I'm trying to be a good girl. And let him make the first move. But if he keeps it up, I'm going to snatch him by the collar and lay these hungry lips on him. He finally made his move. He leaned over in the middle of one of my words and he kissed me. It was a nice, soft, slow kiss. It was all I was hoping for. It was real nice. Not too aggressive and not too passionate, but let me know there would be more to come. So we kissed a little more. The way he rubbed my thigh, I could tell he was excited about his new territory. Then we caught our breath, straightened our clothes, and drove back to the house. The car was quiet most of the ride. Like when the car is silent, but it's not a tense silence. It was a content silence, with the promise of more to come. A promise of more of what to come? You better act like you know. We pulled up in front of the house. Not only was the house dark, all the entire neighborhood of houses were dark. Mike came around to my side of the car and opened the door for me to get out. As I put my legs out the car, my dress slid up about 2 inches. I don't know if it just happened or if I had kind of done it on purpose. He was standing so close to me when I stood up out of the car, I had to squeeze between his body and the car to get past him. We made it into the house and I told him to make himself at home and reminded him where the bathrooms were, then asked him to pull out the sofa bed while I got the linen to make up the bed. I went upstairs to get the linen, and when I came back downstairs, he wasn't in the den. I heard the powder room door open and close. Looking in my eyes, he walked in my direction, bare chest and barefoot. He stopped right in front of me and proceeded to lay his shirt on the arm of the sofa. The whole while, I was watching his every move. "So what's up for later today?" he asked. "Remember I told you to think of something you wanted to do, did you?" I said back. "Let's go to the beach for a while so I can see it during the day," Mike said. "Sounds good to me. Have a good night," I told him. Then I gave him a peck on his lips. Mike said good night, but it would be better if we were sleeping together. I pretended I hadn't heard his reply, but I thought to myself as I went up to my bed, you ain't never lied. Everybody slept later than normal the next morning. When Mama and Papa went downstairs, they told Mike to get in their bed to finish sleeping. Take your pillows on up there with you, Mama told them. I guess it was about 11 that morning when I opened my eyes and went to Alan and Junie's room, just to find they weren't there. I heard something behind me. Looked back to find Mike. Oh, you scared me. Have you seen my brothers? Why are you in my parents' room? First, no, I haven't seen your brothers. And second, your mother told me to go to their room and finish sleeping. And good morning to you too, love, Mike answered. Good morning was all I could say and smile. I was trying to find my brothers to get some friends together to go to the beach with us. From the top of the stairs, I called downstairs, Junie, Alan. I could hear everybody else downstairs. Junie answered, what? We want to go to the beach this afternoon. Let's get some people together, I yelled down to him. About what time? Junie called back. Say about 2 o'clock? Will do. Even if I'm not here at that time, just go to the beach and we'll meet there. All right, I said. Turning back to Mike, I said, we better start getting ready. 2 o'clock will be here in no time. Mike pushed my hair back behind my ear, then gently ran his finger down my neck before kissing me. I wanted to react to his touch, but I couldn't move. Afterwards, Mike told me to go on upstairs and take my bath. He went downstairs to get a bite to eat. After I came out the bathroom, and got dressed and put on my makeup, I went back downstairs to grab a bite. Then Mike went up and got himself together. Papa had gone out into the backyard to watch the birds that came to eat. Then we heard Papa and other voices in the yard. It was Grandpa and Mama. I went outside to join them. A few minutes later, Chocolate Dream, yeah, that's what I'm calling him now in my mind, Chocolate Dream, came outside to join us. He had told me he had grown up on a farm. Come to find out, he really had. He and Grandpa were talking like two old farmers, and Grandpa was impressed. That boy knows his stuff, Grandpa said. A little past noon, the telephone started ringing about us meeting at the beach. I had called Leah, Deja, Judy, Deja was calling me back to say she was going. She was looking forward to wearing some tiny bikini she had bought last week. Deja and her date would be riding with us. Usually everybody brought something to the beach, like sodas, sandwiches, fruits, subs. About 1:15, Alan came in from the night before. Where have you been all this time? Out. What's going down? He said. Well, we're going to go to the beach in a little while. You going to make it? Alan replied. Yeah, might as well. Let me get my stuff in a quick bite. As soon as Alan disappeared to get his things, Junie ran in the door. Mama was getting Taz's things together so we could take her with us. My brothers took her with them a lot. The basketball court, dates, just kept her hanging around with them. It might seem kind of unusual for young men to have a sister always hanging around, but I kept her around kind of often too. I'll admit, like I said, I spent quite a bit of time with her. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Sometimes I think them having her around, is it some type of chick magnet for them? Anyway, Lord knows they have plenty of beautiful women swarming around. Anyway, Taz was riding with Junie and Alan. like most times. It was a hot, sunny day, and I do mean hot. We found our spot. Some of our friends were already there and set up. It was on. We played football and swam. Okay, I didn't swim. I was just sticking my feet in the water when somebody picked me up and ran with me, screaming and kicking and almost crying towards the water. There were other people around us in the water, but I kept my eyes on my brothers running close by and laughing. I was calling to them for help. My God, we went further and further out into the water. The beach had become an uproar of laughter and screaming. Next thing I know, we stopped and I was dunked. But those strong arms were still holding me while I was under the water. Damn it, Mike! Mike was the ass that took me out in the water. What seemed like the middle of the ocean to me. When I finally got back on the sand, it hadn't been as bad as I thought. That's when I saw my brothers out in the water with some of our friends. Well, I knew my brothers wouldn't have let things get too out of control while Mike was acting like a fool with me. I have to be honest, I couldn't even stay mad at him. But one thing, he was looking so damn good standing there, soaking wet, with his 6'4" of sculpted muscular body, pretty teeth, sexy almond-shaped eyes, with the water running from his hair down his face. I swear by the end of this beach day, I was tired and needed some solid food in my stomach. So, Alan, speaking of solid food, that would be on the money right now. Sandwiches are nice and all, but you know what we were raised on, heavy solid foods. That's right. I'm going to go get Taz. She's playing at the edge of the water, I was saying. I went and got her. Come on, little girl. Let's go home. I'm starving and I'm tired. Junie was getting our stuff together, saying he has somewhere to be later. I said, man, I'm not going anywhere tonight. Guess it's just me, Taz, and some junk food in the TV, I was saying. Then I asked, who you going out with? Junie said, no date tonight, just hanging out. When we reached the house, I can say I was never so glad to get home. I cleaned my plate and then took everything I had to make it to the sofa in front of the fan. I laid at one end of the sofa. Little sis sat at the other end. Next thing you know, I woke up and it was dark outside, and Mom was on the love seat across from me. I went in the kitchen to get some junk food, get my supplies, scooter pies and milk. Well, I almost ate my whole one with one bite. Taz was eating hers with a method. First the top layer of cookie, then the bottom layer of cookie, and last but not least, the marshmallow. Junior and Joe came through the den on their way out. As Joe was picking on Taz, he asked me, you sure you're not coming? Man, I'm sure. This is a spot for me tonight. Junie gave Mom and Taz a goodbye kiss. Mom, Taz, and I watched TV for a while until Mom got Taz ready for bed around 10 o'clock. But Taz returned back to her spot on the sofa so we could watch scary movies and late night movies together. So Marie. Mike and I went for a ride later that night and ended up at the movies. Well, one thing led to another, like his caressing me and kissing my neck, and passion started to rise amongst other things. And next thing I know, we were on our way to find a nice hotel. We found a nice hotel across the street from the beach. In the elevator, I had to rub his chest and his flat, muscular stomach. He responded by stroking my hair, and then by giving me one of the sweetest kisses. I swear he had pulled his lips away from mine, but I could still feel the softness of his lips and tongue. As we walked into the room, the place was nice and cool, and almost everything in the room was white, and it even had a shag rug. The walls were white, two white leather chairs, a circular table in between them, and the bed was huge. And it had a bedspread that was lime green with large white polka dots. I removed my shoes as I always did as soon as I get inside. He took off his shirt and his shoes, strolled over to the bed. Got it tested, you know, he said. Come on, help me try it out. Mike laid on his back looking up at the ceiling for a second before he started rubbing my back. Then he took me by the arm and pulled me to him. To be honest, he didn't have to pull too hard. Then I think I started the kissing. First his cheek, then his neck, then his chest. I licked his nipples, and I moved down to kiss his stomach. Let me go to the bathroom. I'll be right back, I told him. When I returned from the bathroom, Mike said he had called for room service. I picked up the telephone to call and tell Mama I wouldn't be home tonight. What did you order? I asked, walking over to the leather chairs to sit down. I ordered some champagne, a plate of shrimp with coleslaw and chocolate cake. Miss, is that okay with you? He said. I said, I guess it'll have to do for now. He walked over to the window facing the ocean and said, can you believe we're both from New Jersey? And I had to go all the way to the other side of the world to fight in a war for us to meet. The Lord has some mapped out plan for that one. But here we are finally, I said to Mike. Then I walked over to where he was standing, still looking out at the ocean, and put my arm around his waist. The doorbell rang, and he went to get the door. Of course it was our food. The man rolled the tray inside the door and proceeded to set up our eating places, plates, glasses, candles, and all. Mike tipped the guy and thanked him for his prompt service. I was lighting the candles. Mike turned off the lights and strolled back to the table and gave me a big hug. We sat at the table and started the celebration. First we took a sip of champagne. Then it was on to feeding each other shrimp and washing them down with champagne. Man, this is almost as tasty as you. Well, I imagine, he said, smiling and semi-embarrassed. I agree, it's good, but let's not get stupid about it being almost as tasty as me. Maybe I'll have to give you another sample of what I taste like if you forgot that damn fast, I told him. The ocean was singing a beautiful song, but I wanted to hear another song along with the ocean. My allergies are killing me. So I wanted to hear another song along with the ocean. So after a few minutes, I suggested we turn on the radio. A song by the Four Tops was playing, so we danced in front of the open window, feeling a fresh ocean breeze blow through the window. It was like I was dreaming. Mike turned the light off in the room. Meanwhile, the moon gave plenty of light as it shone through the windows. He came back in front of the windows where I stood. I was almost unable to move, waiting to feel his body against mine. While we were dancing, I felt his hand caressing my back. I kissed his chest a few times. Then our lips met again. Our hands began exploring each other in a gentle yet excited way. We danced our way over towards the bed. Then I suddenly got so nervous, it dawned on me, this is going somewhere I've never been before. Should I sleep with this man? I want to sleep with this man. What will he think if I do? What will he think if I don't? Mike, I'm really nervous right now. I'm trying to say is that you're nervous, yeah. What else are you trying to, what else are you having so much trouble trying to say to me? He asked. I've never gone all the way before. I finally got it out of my mouth, I told him. No problem. We don't have to do anything, but I'd really like to. But it's up to you. I'm not going to force you. Mike was rambling on. Okay, let's take our time. Seems like you're nervous yourself. Me? No. No, not really. Well, maybe a little bit, he said. So I went to the bathroom and started running the water to take a shower when I heard a tap on the bathroom door. Marie, I was thinking we could take a shower together. It'll be fun, and it'll take less time for us to both get cleaned up. I was naked, so I wrapped the towel around myself and opened the door. Come on in, I told him. The door opened as Mike walked into the bathroom. He removed the towel from his lower body, took my hand, and led us into the shower. He soaped the washcloth and started on my back, worked his way around to the front of me, and went from my neck to my breasts, my stomach, down a little further to my happy place, where he paid special attention to this area, then down to my legs and my feet. In return, I soaped the other washcloth and began with his face to his neck, to his back, down to his tight butt, then the back of his legs. Then I moved to the front of him, where I rubbed the soapy cloth on his chest and stomach, onward to his throbbing protrusion, down to his legs, and last but not least, to his feet. It had started all over again, the yearning, the desire. Okay, I admitted, yes, the love. The need to make love had gotten so strong. We dried each other's body, and I kissed him on the chest, not because it had become a comfortable place for me, but also it was because I couldn't reach his face without him bending over for me to get to him. So we went back to the bed where Mike pulled down the covers and we slid in between the sheets. We talked for about a minute before he began caressing my face and breast, and of course I caressed him back. One touch led to another, and another, and another, and the next thing we had become one. I don't know what time it was when we finally drifted off to sleep, but I slept like I had been given something to sedate me. Oh yeah, that's right. I had been given something to sedate me. Well, the next day the sun was shining in the window, made me open my eyes. Then I recognized the sound of the pounding ocean and the seagulls. Before Mike woke up, I made it to the bathroom where I got my clothes on. When I walked back out the bathroom, he was awake. He was looking at me. So it made me nervous all over again. I'm thinking to myself, what is he thinking? He said, "Morning, you feeling okay?" "I'm fine. How about you?" I said, not looking at him. "I see you took a shower without me," he said. Then he got up and walked into the bathroom. I could hear him whistling as he moved around in there. The bathroom door opened and he came out and gave me a kiss. "So what do you want to do today, pretty girl? Although I hope it's not much." "Well, taking it easy today is fine with me too. Your family will be coming to see my parents later today, so let's just stay around the house and, take it easy. Is that all right?" "That's a plan. Now let's go for a walk on the boardwalk before we start our day. Normally I exercise early in the morning. This feels funny not exercising for the last couple of days," Mike said as he did a few stretches and yawns. So I'm going to stop there for tonight. And again, I thank you for stopping in. I hope that you are having a good weekend. And hope you would like to click on that subscribe button for me. I would really appreciate it. And again, thank you so much. Drop me a comment just to say hey. Tell me what's going on, what's on your mind. And you take care. Peace, love, and happy vibes for you.